your chair, placing your hands on your chest. I'm going to come into the screen just to show you the sort of position. So your arms are flopping down here, hands are here. You can lock your thumbs together, you don't have to, but if it's comfortable to, you can. Otherwise, just put them like that or stacked on top of each other. They're interlinked. And you're just very gently patting your chest. One side, then the other side. So it's almost like a little heartbeat. That's it. You can close your eyes, you can sit right back on your chair, take your legs a bit wider, spread your feet on the floor. And you can stare either at something blank, like maybe slightly ahead on the desk, the floor, something that isn't moving, or you can close your eyes and just go within. You've just got that slight sort of rhythm going from your hands. Sending your breath to your belly. And you might blow your breath out through pursed lips just to slow your breathing down as you exhale. And if you feel it slows down enough, you can then exhale through your nose. We're then going to take our hands to the outside of our arms. It's like a very low down hug. And then slide your hands down your arms. And you can be going from elbow towards your wrist, or you can go higher, just from below the shoulder downwards. So it's a sort of stroking motion. Breath still going to your belly. That's it. And then taking your hands lower down, so you start to stroke your hands. And you see you can still be working down your arm, but now your hands are involved as well. They're sort of stroking each other. And now just your hands, stroking the hands. Anywhere on the hands. That's it. And then let your arms, hands rest on your legs and just grow a little taller. So that's just a calming practice. It's a way of tuning into your rest and repair parts of your vagal system. So having a wiggle on your chair, just feeling those sit bones. So as soon as you're feeling those knobbly bits digging into your chair seat, they are your sit bones. And then we're going to bring our legs a little bit closer, your feet parallel, pointing forwards. And you might just shift very slightly forwards in your chair, just so you've got a tiny bit of room behind you. And then we're going to grow taller. And as you grow taller, just check what happens with your thighs. Do things suddenly sort of feel like they almost jump up on your thigh muscles? And give them a little reassurance so that they can relax a little bit. Right, from this position, we're going to go into pelvic tilts. So you can really tune into your sitting bones for this one today, if you like. The moment you're sitting right up on your sitting bones, take a breath. And as you breathe out, feel your belly just pulling back a little. And then just come slightly off your sitting bones behind you, just a little bit. And then as you breathe in, come up and on them. And now slightly forwards, it's a bit more on your thighs. And then coming back and off them, your belly comes back and you get this soft shape at the back, either straight or slightly curved. And then as you come slightly forward, you come up, and then it arches slightly. So you see it's a really small movement, just tuning in to how your lumbar, your low spine feels today. Very nice. So this part of your back between my two hands here, where the ribs are, that's not really doing much. You might feel it just bobbing slightly as you move forwards and backwards. But it's this lumbar section here, we're just getting a bit of movement into that. And then coming up, so you're sitting up tall and turning your head from one side, coming forwards turn to the other. Nothing else moves, just your head. Very nice. Everyone's got a nice amount of movement there, all look comfortable. And then coming forwards. And then we're going to place, it's almost like your sort of fist just here. Doesn't matter which arm you use, so whichever you're comfortable using. Bit of resistance, like you're trying to push against your chin, and you can push slightly and feel your back of your neck just lengthen. And you're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, it's like you're trying to push this fist back and your chin forwards. Nothing goes anywhere, just going to resist. So those little extensor muscles on the back of your neck, we're just strengthening those. And then just release and have a little wiggle. Breath in, we're going to go again. As you breathe out, pushing back and pushing forwards. And then let go, have a little wiggle. One more. Breath in, breathing out, just resisting. And then taking that hand away and some sort of neck roll. So I'm going to do like my chin just dips down and then I reach over one way and reach over the other. That is my personal favourite. But if you've got another favourite and you want more movement than I'm doing, go for it. My neck movement is maybe could be fuller in range. And then bringing your head, so you're coming forwards and looking ahead. And just starting to wriggle your shoulders. Now I will go one shoulder and then another, because there's at least two of you with shoulder issues going on here. You can go doubles, but if you've got different things going on different sides, I would keep going for the singles, because then you can really pay attention to what each side wants. And we're doing forwards and backwards. And if backwards is uncomfortable, maybe just occasional backwards ones. And the same with forwards. If you want your arms to go down and be a little heavier, you can do that. If you're comfortable with a double roll, you can do that. Just inviting as much movement and sort of exploration into your shoulders as you can. And I'll just finish this one off. And then sliding your hands along your thighs and just letting your waist turn, and your head turns with your waist. And just seeing if you can let your jaw go so that you're not gritting your teeth, clenching your teeth, letting go of any tension there. And then coming forwards, keeping that sort of feeling of motion going, but this time we're taking a heel up and we're letting an arm come forward. So it's like a sort of leisurely walk. And options here, you can keep this like this. You could bring your arms in and bend at the elbows and make it a little faster.
Sorry, Kerry, I can't see your feet.
I'm just about to lift them up, so just about the right time. If you want to lift them up and go for that sort of walk, you can, but you can see my heels are coming up there, my toes stay down, you can do that too. Something to make you a little warmer and get the body going a bit more. So if your legs are happier than your upper body, get your legs moving different directions. If your upper body is happier than your legs, get the arms going outwards. I think shaking sort of imaginary maracas in different directions, just because anything, the bigger movements get you warmer faster. So lean into what is happier for you. It might be your legs. I can't see the legs on anybody today, so your legs may all be going crazy, I don't know. And you're just trying to make yourself a little bit breathy and a little bit warmer. And you can end this with tiny movements. It's almost like you're doing like tiny runs, tiny maracas, a little tiny tantrum, and then rest. So you might be sitting back, you might hinge forwards and rest on your legs. You might be comfortable rolling all the way down and flopping over. If you've got osteoporosis, I would say hinging forwards and keeping your back straight is probably the most comfortable. So just take a few breaths there and bring yourself up when you're ready. Squeeze your bum and thighs as you come up. That's it. And now back to our feet. So lifting just the toes up and down if you can. And then leaving the heels down, lifting the foot up and down. Take your time. If it feels very tight along the front of your shin, it may be your foot needs to come forward slightly away from that sort of 90-degree shape. And then you can slide them back a little and find the point where actually, no, I can't do it when it's, say, here, it just isn't coming up enough, might be need to be more forwards. So just finding that place. And then we're going to bring heels up, 2 heels together, could be one at a time if you prefer. And then keeping the body upright. So to do your sort of feel more upright, you could either hold onto your chair at the back, or you might rest your hands here at the front, almost like you're sort of trying to push up into your hands slightly, just to give your upper body a bit of focus. We're going to heel toe our legs out and in. So you're sort of pivoting on your feet and trying to keep your gaze somewhere ahead, rather than, look, everyone was like dying to look at their feet then, just checking what was going on. It's always the same with feet. People often, you need to sort of look at your feet to sort of get the messages there. But seeing if you can keep your gaze ahead, you are allowed to look down if you need to. Obviously, it's all good. That's it. And the last one. And then keeping your feet down, legs back at this sort of 90 position. They're about 2 fists apart. Let's take arms forwards. Now, the height they go is going to depend on shoulders. If it starts to feel tight and uncomfortable at that height, bring it lower. So you don't want to feel like you're sort of being squashed here. Arms forwards, palms down. And it's a sort of breaststroke style swim, pulling your elbows back a little. If you need to come forwards on your chair because there's not enough room for your elbows, you can do. And it's more about that backwards move than that push forwards. So squeezing the elbows back, and you can do this with one arm and then the other. And it might be that one arm is going to go higher and the other arm, smaller movement and lower. So really sort of tuning in to those sensations, that's it. Breathing in as your arms go forwards and out as they go out to the sides. You get that little squeeze at the back, bit of chest opening, lovely. 2 more of those. And then resting your hands, taking your legs slightly wider just to give yourself more of a stable base. Let's have hands on the chest, grow tall for a moment, and then it's just like you're dipping this elbow downwards and then come up, and the other elbow downwards and come up. Now next time you do that, elbows do the same thing, but I want you to pay attention to your sitting bones, keeping them both where they are, the same amount of pressure, especially on the one furthest away. Now dip the elbow down and come up. Same pressure on the sitting bones, dip down and come up. One more each side, down and up, down and up. Lovely. And then placing your hands back on your thighs, move your legs in a little and back to that slide like we were doing in the warm-up at the beginning. Maybe it's slightly bigger, maybe your elbow is sliding slightly further back, and you can even come right to the edge of your chair, shuffle your legs forwards, and that will just give you a little bit more space to bring that elbow back and just get into a slightly bigger rotation at the waist. And then bring yourself back to the center. We're going to go into a slightly different position in the chair. I'm going to turn my chair now at an angle, and I'm going to sit on this bit here. So this bit's now between my legs. Is that okay for you all able to do that if you're on some sort of, is anybody on a swivelly chair or anything like that?
I can't do that because I've got arms on my chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll still work without. It's just easy to show you this way. Let me show you where we're going with this. One leg, you see they are further apart than they were, so that would be my 2 fists apart. They've now come a bit wider apart. I would say they're just past my shoulder widths apart, but the width is just a comfortable, slightly wider width. One leg is going to stay still. I'm going to turn towards that leg. I'm going to rest my hands on it as well, just so this leg, just want it to stay fairly still. It might be you push your foot down. It might be you give your thigh a bit of a stroke if you're not feeling through your foot. This leg is going to dip inwards, and I'm rolling to the side of my foot. And then it's going to come up. It's coming in. And it's coming up. Is that working, Jean, on your chair?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we're isolating just this side and this leg. We're trying to keep it as still as we can. That's why it needs these hands on it. You can put them here on the side. You can hold the top. I find I get the best response from the side. You might even need both sides. You can keep that touch very light. Often your leg doesn't need like really grabbing, it just needs to know that something is there. Now this one might be moving like this, it might be dipping further down than mine's dipping. We're not pushing it out that way at the moment. This is internal rotation. That's it. Last one. And then just let everything have a moment and just relaxing, lovely. And then focus is going to this leg. So we just turn slightly to this leg. We're paying attention to you. This is the moving one. It's often the case when we do these movements, we're always interested in the bit that's moving. Actually, it's the bit that's still that's doing a lot of the work. So this one starts dipping in, rolling onto the side of your foot, and then coming back. Now you might notice that you've just done your favourite side before, and now things are quite different. Either this leg is going, oh, wibble wobble, yes, or this leg is not able to move inwards very much. We often gravitate towards our favourite side first. So if this side is doing its wibble wobble, it may be you need to change where you're placing your hand. Try different places. Does a bit of inside touch help? I feel like I'm always going further down my leg on that one. Does that help? Bring it higher up. Even with your hand sort of here at the side. That's it. And maybe one more. And then let go. And now you can change your chair positions. So we've just done internal rotation. Now we're going to do a little external rotation. So we've got our legs back in that classic position. We're going to start tapping the inside of one foot towards ankle, inner leg. Doesn't matter how high or low you go. Just look what's happening at the knee as you're doing this and this part of the leg, and feel what's happening at your hip. If you put your hand in the hip crease, you can start to feel, if you stay on one side particularly, you can feel the rotation of your femur in the hip socket. And if you're on one side, shift over to the other side and have a little feel what it's like on the other side. That's it. And it might be, it's a very slow movement for you if you've got osteoarthritis in the hip, for instance. And it might be also your foot might not touch, it might just slide towards and that might be the maximum movement you get. That's it. Last one, and then sit back, let the legs have a flop. So your hips have just done in and out. They just need a little bit of a break. And then coming forwards in your chair, just wiggling forward slightly. You've now got a little bit of room behind you, and you could come forwards as well, taking the feet slightly wider just to give you a good base. Elbows in at the waist, and we're just letting our wrists have some movement. The hands are quite loose, like loose fists. Just giving the wrist maybe ups and downs, circles. And then we're going to start to go into infinity shapes, that sort of figure eight on its side, opening your fingers outwards, and then letting your elbows come out. This might be where your shoulders want you to stay. And one side might be different from the other, so you can stay with this. If you can make it bigger, you can make this into a bigger shape. Either with your smaller movement or bigger movement, you can hinge forwards and backwards now with this same movement, but you don't have to. It's just there if you want it to. And it might be you hinge quite low and you lean back quite a lot. It might be that you just concentrate on the leaning back and then coming upright, or you stay upright and do it in this position. Deeper breaths. Lovely. And then making this smaller and smaller and smaller. And then resting your hands and shuffling yourself back. And now you've got the maximum support under your thighs. We're going to take a leg forward. Let's go for the leg you didn't want to take. So whichever leg you were going to take forwards, ignore that and go for the other leg. And just taking that leg forwards and then taking it down. And then the other side forwards and down. And just keeping that going, seeing how high and how straight you can get that leg. Don't worry about what the foot's doing. We'll give the foot different things to do in a moment. And we're trying to keep our weight really central. It's like you've got the heaviest bottom, all the weight is in your bum. And it's just sitting really heavily on your chair. And now we're going to hold up that side, that first leg. Hold it up wherever you can. Push your heel away. Toes coming towards you. And then take it down. It can have a little flop. And the other leg, growing tall, reaching that leg away, pushing the heel away, toes towards your nose. And then bring it down, let it have a little flop, well done. Same thing again, taking that leg up, pushing the heel away, whichever height you've got your leg. And now lengthen your toes, let it go really long. So we're trying not to scrunch the toes. I'm really trying not to scrunch mine because you can all see my feet. And then toes back to your nose. Lengthen. It's so hard to lengthen without them suddenly crunching over. And now wiggling that foot around. So it can be waving, it can be circling. You can trying to draw a figure eight with your foot. That's an interesting thing to do. See if it will go in all those wiggly places, and then take it down. Just let the legs have a little time off in between. And then growing tall again. extending your leg away as straight as it will go, pushing the heel away first, bringing your toes towards your nose. Now lengthen your foot, lengthen the toes, pull the toes towards you, push the heel away, lengthen your toes, grow tall, just check in with your jaw. Oh, is it relaxed? Oh. Bring those toes back towards you and now wave your foot. That's it. And wiggle any directions you can get, circles, figure eights, ups and downs, side to sides. And then take it downwards, let your legs go and take yourself into a rest position for a moment. And then bring yourself upright. Come slightly forwards on your chair, so you've got some room behind you. And we're going to rest our hands on our chest and our arms flop down. And we're going to hinge forwards and backwards. You're going to find a range that you're comfortable with. So your head and neck don't change, they're just going with the back. That's it. And you're finding how far can you go and feel comfortable. It might be you like to touch the back of your chair as you go back. It might be you like to sort of have the space and not feel limited by that. Just finding your range. Next time you hinge forwards, find a place where you can hold it. And then take your arms back so they're touching the side of the chair, one at a time, just touching the side. You might be able to slide them up and down the sides of your chair, just touching the sides of your chair. You could give the chair little pats, so my arms just going out and in. I'm exaggerating there. Just keep it as small as you can. It's like little penguins. And see if you're doing that. Can you reach your fingers slightly further back behind you? That's it. And then come to upright. It's a good one to do if you are seated at a desk, that one, because we're coming forwards, sliding forwards and touching your chair. That's a really nice way to give yourself a big stretch through the back. So we'll go for that one more time. I'll change it slightly as we're back there. So bring your hands to your chest, grow tall, hinging forwards, bringing your arms round the back. That's it. You might slide them up and down. You might slide them out and in, or take them out and in, they're not sliding there. You might try arcing them forwards and backwards without going any lower. You're just holding yourself in space. You could go one arm, by the way, it doesn't have to be both. And then bring yourself up. Take your legs wider. Hands are gently on your thighs. And we're going to start to circle round, just winding down, literally. That's it. And make these as big as you can, as you're comfortable with. And then pause and go the other direction. And then pause in the center. Take your arms to your inner legs and hinge forwards, keeping your back straight as much as you're comfortable to do so. You can really press your arms to your legs. If you're uncomfortable, take your elbows onto your thighs. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, bring yourself straight up. Bring your legs in. Give your shoulders a roll. That's it. And then take your hands Down the sides of your arms, close your eyes if you're comfortable to close your eyes. Working down towards your hands. Letting your breath slow down with your movement. Stroking onto your hands. Stroking just your hands. And letting your hands and arms come down to your side, turning your palms outwards. Scoop up the air, bringing your arms ahead of you, either in front or high, just somewhere where they're in front of you. And bring your hands into your chest. Breathing out. You're all done. Well done.